Altruistic behavior. Learning objectives. Welcome, my friends, to a new lesson that discusses a noble Islamic virtue, which is the virtue of altruism, which is selfless behavior. What is its importance in our lives? And what are its causes and motivations? Follow along with me to find out. Firstly, the act of altruism involves prioritizing the interest of others over one's own, with the aim of gaining spiritual rewards rather than material ones. Islam encourages the practice of altruism because it fosters a sense of empathy towards others' needs and motivates Muslims to prioritize those needs over their own. Allah Almighty praised the Ansar from the city of Medina and commended them. This was because they selflessly favored the needs of the migrants' companions and Muhajirin over their own. The Ansar greeted them with the utmost hospitality, shared their wealth, homes, and farms with them, and prioritized them over themselves. Allah Almighty said, "As for those who had settled in the city and embraced the faith before the arrival of the immigrants, they love whoever migrates to them, never having a desire in their hearts for whatever of the gains is given to the immigrants. They give the immigrants preference over themselves, even though they may be in need, and whoever is saved from the selflessness of their own souls, it is they who are truly successful." Let us look at other examples. A woman approached the Prophet with a cloak to gift it to him. He took it and was pleased with it, so he wore it. A man from the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, saw him in it and requested it from him. The Prophet gave it to him. During the event of the Prophet's migration, Abu Bakr insisted on entering the Thawra cave before the Prophet. He did this out of fear that there might be something harmful inside. This instance showcases Abu Bakr's selfless behavior towards the Prophet. He risked sacrificing his life and soul to protect the Prophet, which is the highest level of selflessness. Let's look at another example. Guests arrived at the Prophet's house, and the East-stemmed companion Abu Talha al-Ansari took him to his own home. However, there was only enough food for Abu Talha's family and children. So he waited until night fell and the children fell asleep. Then he asked his wife to prepare the meal. The guests ate from the dinner while Abu Talha pretended to eat. It was dark, so the guests didn't notice that Abu Talha didn't actually eat anything. Abu Talha, his wife, and children went to bed hungry that night in order to ensure that they were gracious to their guests. Jibreel, peace be upon him, informed the Prophet about what Abu Talha and his wife did to their guest. Abu Talha was informed that Allah Almighty was pleased with their actions. There are many benefits to being selfless. First of all, removing hatred and envy from the heart is important because a believer prioritizes the well-being of others over their own personal gain. So people who are selfless have no hatred or envy in their hearts. Secondly, selflessness is a reason to bring blessing and goodness to the believer. Thirdly, one of the benefits of selflessness is that it leads to the spread of love and affection among people, achieved through cooperation and prioritizing others over oneself. The fourth benefit is that the act of selflessness strengthens and unifies the Islamic community, fostering love and care among its members. The fifth benefit is that the act of selflessness is considered realization and perfection of a believer's faith. It involves prioritizing others over oneself and sincerely seeking the pleasure and reward from Allah Almighty. We conclude, my dears, that the virtue of generosity is considered to be one of the most noble traits that the Holy Quran encourages. The Honorable Companions demonstrated it in various aspects of their lives. And now we have come to the end of the lesson about selflessness. We have learned together altruism It is the act of prioritizing the interests of others over one's own interest in order to gain religious rewards rather than worldly gains. Islam encourages selflessness because it compels Muslims to empathize with the needs of others and prioritize those needs over their own. Allah praised the Ansar, the residents of Medina, and commended them for their act of selflessness when they supported and prioritized the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions who migrated from Mecca to Medina. We also learn that from the impacts and advantages of selflessness are many. It eradicates malice and envy from the believer's heart. It attracts blessings and goodness. It fosters love and affection among people. It makes the Islamic community strong and cohesive, where everyone cares for each other. It encourages a Muslim to distance themselves from arrogance, vanity, and reprehensible actions. We also learned the following reasons and motivations for selflessness: a profound belief in Allah Almighty and the sincerity of deeds done for Him. Kindness and mercy, two attributes that reside in the heart of a believer. Upholding and practicing good morals is a reason for the individual to be loved and praised among people. The desire to embody noble characteristics, with altruism being the most prominent among them.